Is this the end of the road for Manchester United for Jadon Sancho? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's reports are from Sky in Germany that seems to suggest that Jadon Sancho's time at Manchester United could be over in the upcoming January transfer window. Now, of course, you know the story about Jadon Sancho. It's been documented and told so many times, not just by myself, of course, but by other people around as well. But it does seem that with the news coming today from Sky in Germany, it seems that the relationship between himself and manager Erik ten Hag has completely broken down, and that may result in the England winger being moved on in January in the upcoming winter transfer window. We're going to be talking about Jadon Sancho, this situation, and where his future may lie. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always very greatly appreciated. And of course, for you lot to get involved in the comment section as well. I'm sure you have a lot of interesting thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So do get involved down there. Otherwise, let's get into the video. Let's talk this Jadon Sancho situation. Now, of course, if you've been living under a rock or have no idea what I'm talking about in regards to this Jadon Sancho situation, then let me fill you in. Several weeks ago, Manchester United took on Arsenal in a Premier League game. I believe it was match day 4 of the brand new season. Arsenal were victorious on the day by 3-1. A brilliant result by Arsenal. After the game, Erik ten Hag was asked about the absence of Jadon Sancho from the matchday squad, and in response, ten Hag stated that the reason Sancho wasn't in the matchday squad was because he didn't think his performances in training warranted a start or being on the bench at that time, and that United were blessed to have other options in Sancho's area of play in his position. Sancho didn't take too kindly to being called out like this in public and took to social media almost instantly to respond to his manager's criticism for the world to hear. He took to social media of all places to basically state that he felt like he was being made a scapegoat and that he didn't like the way that Ten Hag handled that question. I don't personally think he handled it in the best way either. But I think Sancho did have the right to respond. I'm just not quite sure it should have been in the public domain that he should have responded. But it was kind of an awkward situation for Ten Hag to be in. And it has caused debate over whether Ten Hag was right to answer the question in the way that he did, whether or not Ten Hag was wrong to say what he did, and then of course the response from Sancho, was he right to respond in the way that he did, or was he wrong to do so? Since then, the punishment for Sancho has been to banish him from the matchday squads in all of the games that have followed, seemingly banish him from the first team activities in the days and weeks that have followed. But it has been stated that all Sancho needed to do was to apologise to the manager for his outburst, and it will be water under the bridge, and Sancho could get back to his football and back within the first team and back in contention to fight for his place at Manchester United. Something which several Manchester United players have also encouraged Sancho to do, but Sancho, seemingly being stubborn, is refusing to do so. And this is why this news from Germany today has come out, and it's seemingly said that both player and manager have reached an impasse. Neither one of them is backing down on this situation. Neither one of them is going to apologise to the other. And that's why it's being said that maybe, just maybe, the end of the road at Manchester United is near for Jadon Sancho, and that is going to be the player that moves on rather than the manager. Now, these sources in Sky in Germany seem to state that a loan move may materialise in January before a permanent one does, but a permanent move isn't completely off the table. Obviously, if the right money is made available, if the right team comes about, then of course a deal is there to be done. But it does seem to suggest that a loan move is more probable and more likely to happen than a permanent move at this moment in time, and obviously when the January transfer window does come around. But then after the season ends, when we get to the summer transfer window next year, it's open season as to what is going to happen. Maybe Sancho will have a change of heart. Maybe Ten Hag may actually not be there come the end of the season. It's possible with the way that United have started the season. A lot of things can obviously happen between now and then. It's about who outlives the other at the club, I guess you could say. Maybe not outlives. Maybe who outlives. So you get what I mean. Who stays there the longest, basically. I can't remember the word for it, but you know what I mean. In regards to this situation, what does the future hold for Jadon Sancho? That's the next question we were going to ask. Now, obviously, we know the situation. We know what's led to this moment. What does the future hold for Jadon Sancho? Well, in my opinion, I think it's been tarnished. I think this situation may have tarnished his future. Now, I'm not going to say his future's completely over. Of course it isn't. There's always going to be suitors out there for him. He still has great ability. He's still relatively young, got good potential still. And I think he would improve a lot of teams, whether they're overseas or within the Premier League themselves. However, my issue is that I think the unprofessionalism factor of this situation has reared its head, and I think a lot of teams are going to be looking at that and are going to be questioning whether or not Sancho would be a good fit for the dressing room if things are to turn sour. And I say that because obviously when you look at his track record and when you look at his history, it doesn't make for great reading. When this situation came about, we were quick to do our research on this situation, and we found issues with Sancho wherever he's been, whether it be as a youngster at Manchester City, whether it be at Dortmund, whether it be on international duty with England, and we felt like maybe as he got older, he got more professional. Those kind of little things would be phased out of his life. It doesn't seem to be the case. And this, again, has reared its ugly head in terms of his unprofessionalism, in terms of taking things public, in terms of throwing his toys out the pram, that as soon as things went badly for him and as soon as things got a bit ugly, he went off the rail. He went off the rail like this. And I can see this working against him and maybe not getting a bigger move that he would hope for. With all due respect to the other teams that may be interested, and let's face it, there are going to be teams that are going to be interested. In the summer, there were teams that were interested. I remember saying that Tottenham, or seeing that Tottenham were reportedly interested in Jadon Sancho among a couple of other teams as well. There will be teams out there that will still like the idea of having Jadon Sancho within their ranks. He will still improve certain teams. He will still be a great addition to many a team up and down the Premier League and, like I say, overseas as well. He will still get a decent move wherever he goes. But a lot of those teams may now not be interested because of this unprofessionalism that he's shown. I'm not saying it's going to be the be-all and end-all. I'm not going to say that he can't obviously work on this. But to take things public, whether you agree with the way that Ten Hag managed the question or not, for Sancho to respond in the way that he did is unprofessional, in my opinion. Completely unprofessional. And the way that he should have responded was to have a word with the manager, behind the scenes, behind closed doors, talk it through, or get your head down in training and work harder. Look at yourself, because like I say, this isn't the first time someone has called his unprofessionalism into question. This isn't the first time someone's questioned his training at a senior level, or to call that into question. It does say to me that this guy does have a tendency and has issues on occasion when it comes to being professional. There's no doubt on his ability. I'm not doubting it. I still think he could improve a lot of teams. I'm just saying that this incident may have called into question whether or not he will get a big move, or whether he will get, or what type of move he will get if the move does materialise in January. Obviously, if January does come and Erik Ten Hag is not there anymore, which, let's face it, is entirely possible, like I say, with the way that United have started and with the amount of issues that are going on at United, because let's face it, it's an absolute circus at Old Trafford right now. Like, everything I feel sorry for a little bit for Ten Hag because he's had to deal with so much since becoming Manchester United manager. I do feel sorry for him a little bit in terms of what he's had to deal with, the Ronaldo stuff, and then even this season going on with the Greenwood stuff from like last campaign that he basically inherited, and then there's probably like tons of other issues as well. And then you look at this season as well, the stuff that's happening on the pitch in terms of poor results, poor performances and injuries, off the pitch in terms of the Glazers and the ownership issues, in terms of the Harry Maguire stuff, the Anthony stuff, and now the Jadon Sancho stuff. I do feel sorry for him in that aspect, but overall, there aren't issues there at United that's causing this whole club to become an absolute circus. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for United going forward. It really doesn't. They're in preparation for a Champions League game tonight. They may win that. They should be winning that. But it may just paper over some cracks as of right now if that is to obviously happen. And this news coming out, I can't imagine is going to be best and the most welcome news to hear. But at the same time, if Ten Hag is to override this storm and still become United manager and still to obviously stay as United manager, getting rid of a bad influence in that dressing room in January may be a good sign. It may be a good sign that the manager does have some level of authority and power at that club, something that United have cried out for a long time. But like I say, for Sancho personally, this unprofessionalism that he's displayed in this scenario, not the best and may work against him. Well, I'll obviously have to wait and see because I'm not 100% sure how this move will materialise. Obviously, with this coming from Sky in Germany, there had been suggestion that maybe a return to Borussia Dortmund may have been on the cards for Sancho this January, maybe even permanently going forward. But it does seem a little unlikely. Not completely off the table, but does seem unlikely. But I imagine he will be able to find a squad and a team. Maybe it is in a league that he knows well, like the Bundesliga, or maybe it's somewhere lower down in the Premier League, away from Old Trafford and Manchester United. Either way, we'll have to see what the future holds for him. Like I say, I think he's got a lot of work to do in terms of winning over maybe his new fans as well as maybe winning over his old fans if something was to change. Especially if, like I say, if Erik Ten Hag does get the sack and a new manager comes in, takes a shine to Sancho, he may have some hard work to do to win over the fans at Old Trafford. There's a lot that can obviously happen and materialise between now and then, but it does seem that if things are to continue the way they are, Sancho will be leaving Manchester United in January, possibly on a loan deal, but a permanent move isn't out of the realms of possibility. But these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this whole Jadon Sancho situation? What do you make of this entire scenario? Where do you think his future may lie? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it in regards to this story down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated, and as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you all again soon in another video, live stream, or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, have a good day, take care, speak to you soon.